I knew my relationship was over while holding a plate of burnt hot dogs. It was supposed to be the perfect 4th of July barbecue. My girlfriend Emma had been planning this for weeks, inviting all our friends and her family. She made these elaborate Pinterest boards with red, white, and blue decorations, bought matching paper plates and napkins, even got those little American flag toothpicks for the appetizers. I'd been dating Emma for 2 years, and this was going to be our first time hosting together at her place. She kept talking about how this party would show everyone we were serious about our future, how we were becoming a real couple, the kind that throws dinner parties and remembers people's birthdays. The morning of the party, Emma was running around like a maniac. She had 17 different checklists taped to her refrigerator. Make potato salad by 11 a.m., set up tables by noon, start grilling by 2 p.m. She handed me the list for my responsibilities, which basically boiled down to, don't mess anything up. My main job was grilling. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and some fancy chicken skewers her mom specifically requested. Emma had already marinated everything and arranged it in perfect containers with labels. She'd even written out timing instructions for each item. Hot dogs, 6 minutes, turn once. Burgers, 4 minutes per side for medium. Chicken, 8 minutes, turn every 2 minutes. I should mention that I'd been grilling since I was 12 years old. My dad taught me everything about charcoal, gas, temperature control, the works. I'd cooked hundreds of barbecues without burning anything. But Emma insisted on giving me detailed instructions anyway, like I'd never seen a grill before in my life. Around 1 p.m., guests started arriving. Emma's sister Melissa brought her kids, who immediately ran around the backyard screaming. Emma's parents showed up with a cooler full of beer and started criticizing her decorating choices. My buddies Tyler and Marcus came with their girlfriends, who Emma had never really clicked with. Everything started going wrong right from the beginning. The kids knocked over the drinks table, soaking Emma's carefully arranged napkins. Her dad started rearranging the chairs because he didn't like where Emma had placed them. My friend Tyler brought this cheap beer Emma hated, and she kept making faces every time someone opened one. But Emma was determined to make this party perfect no matter what. She kept running around fixing things, apologizing to everyone, trying to control every single detail. When her mom complained that the potato salad needed more salt, Emma ran inside to fix it. When the kids started fighting, Emma refereed. When the neighbors' music got too loud, Emma marched over there to ask them to turn it down. I could see her getting more and more stressed, but every time I tried to help, she'd wave me away and say she had everything under control. Just focus on the grilling, she kept telling me. That's the one thing I need you to handle perfectly. So I'm standing at the grill, trying to stay out of everyone's drama, when Emma's mom comes over and starts criticizing the way I'm arranging the hot dogs. She says I should rotate them more frequently to get even browning. Then Emma's sister walks up and asks if I'm sure the chicken is safe to eat because it looks a little pink. Meanwhile, Emma is inside having what sounds like a meltdown because someone spilled ketchup on her white tablecloth. I can hear her through the kitchen window, crying and saying the whole party is ruined. That's when my buddy Tyler walks over with a beer and says, "Dude, your girlfriend is absolutely losing it over some ketchup. Is she always this intense about everything?" I looked around the backyard. Emma's dad was now completely rearranging her decorations. Her mom was redoing the food layout. The kids were throwing water balloons at each other despite Emma specifically asking them not to. Emma's perfect party was falling apart, and she was inside crying about it. I realized I'd been walking on eggshells around Emma for months, maybe even the whole 2 years we'd been together. Every restaurant choice had to be researched and approved. Every social gathering required weeks of planning and stress. Every little thing that went wrong became a major crisis that somehow became my fault. I was so lost in this realization that I completely forgot about the hot dogs. When I looked down at the grill, they were black, completely charred. Smoke was pouring off them, and they looked like little chunks of coal. I quickly pulled them off and put them on a plate, hoping maybe people wouldn't notice or I could scrape the burnt parts off. But right then, Emma came outside, saw the plate of destroyed hot dogs, and just lost it completely. She started yelling at me in front of everyone. How could I burn the hot dogs? Didn't I read her instructions? Did I not care about making a good impression on her family? Why couldn't I handle one simple task? Everyone was staring. Her parents looked embarrassed. My friends looked uncomfortable. The kids stopped playing to watch Emma scream at me about hot dogs, and I'm standing there holding this plate of burnt hot dogs, realizing that this is never going to end. Emma was never going to relax. She was never going to trust me to do anything right. She was never going to be happy unless everything in her life was perfectly controlled, and she was never going to be able to control everything. I looked at her red, angry face and thought, I don't want to spend the rest of my life getting yelled at about hot dogs. I set the plate down on the grill, walked over to Emma and said quietly, "We need to talk inside." We broke up that afternoon while her entire family was still in the backyard. She accused me of ruining her perfect party on purpose. I told her there was no such thing as a perfect party, and she needed to figure out why controlling everything was more important to her than actually enjoying anything. I moved out the next week. Emma kept posting pictures on social media of all the parties and gatherings she hosted after that, always with captions about surrounding herself with people who actually cared about details and quality. But in every single photo, she looks exhausted. Those burnt hot dogs saved me from years of walking on eggshells. Sometimes the worst moments show you exactly what you need to see.